Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this section of reads. This should be viewed on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca, just to be sure that's where you're seeing it. If you're not, let me know, or, go to YouTube to make sure you're getting the right one. Also, I am doing in-person readings in Herkimer, New York. If you're near there, go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll give you more details. The dice and decks that I'm using, that information should be below. Other than that, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into your reading. Hello, Pisces. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you're viewing them. That being said, what do we have for Pisces? The energies are like... it's trying to jump forward. Oh, there you go. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands. Okay, something is trying to jump forward here. Oh, something wants to jump forward. Okay, I get that, but like... what? One more. Okay. You've done this before. You've done this before? So, whatever's going on here, you've done this before. You got the Six of Cups in the environment with open up to your gifts. There's information around you that you might be missing. I just feel like the signs are all around you. And this is weird, because, like, I'm a Pisces too, so I just feel like, just, one of those times where you look back and you're like, I was there the whole time. It reminds me of, like, when I leave something in the kitchen and I'm looking everywhere for it and it was on the table next to, like, this or that. Like, maybe I pushed it over just out of spot just so I couldn't see easily, and it was there the whole time. This is how this feels. So there's things around you saying, you got possibilities. There's things right there, but, like... it may be more about bringing back the energy or putting the energy back in your control, because it might be something's going on here where I feel like the energy's all around you. It's trying to help you. It's trying to come in, but it's like I'm missing it. It's like right in front of me, but I can't see it. It drives me nuts. Like I've done this before a couple times where it's like you're looking for something, or like you're looking for your phone. I don't know. You're looking for your phone and it's like literally in your hand or in your pocket. It's like... you're like, I can't seem to find it. I know I just had it. I don't know. It's right there. That's how this feels. You've done this before. There's conflict with, like, I don't want to repeat this. Can we get, like, a little bit more about how it happened before? Because maybe if you can link it to the past and how it played out in the past, it might help you do something different here in the future, and kind of like, oh, before we do that, how about we don't? That is the 8 of Swords, but it's like this, which is telling me releasing. You've released yourself from something like this before. Maybe not in the best way. Because you also got the High Priestess upside down. Reversed, I guess I should say. You have gotten yourself out of these issues before. You have gotten yourself past these situations before. Maybe not in the most beneficial to yourself, but you've gotten yourself out of that. So it's almost like I got out of something, or this ended, or I moved on from this, but maybe like you ended up paying more of a price than you really should have. It's like accepting the loss and just paying the balance, even though it wasn't your fault. It's almost like somebody, like if you're out to dinner with a couple friends and then they leave and stick you with the bill and you're like, this wasn't fair. And they're like, you just paid it and moved on. And it's kind of like, instead of making them accountable for what they did, you just paid the balance and moved on. And then you just didn't do that again. You just didn't go out with them like that, or, whatever it was. It seems like it's something like that, where you paid the balance just to, like, that's how I'll move on from this. I'll just pay the balance and I'll move on. Or almost for some of you, I'm cringing at this, like leaving a job, but leaving it quickly because people were very negative to you and you're like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go. And you just kind of like, I'm done. I'm not coming in anymore. And instead of going in there and like, you know, sorting it out and not letting people have that advantage over you, you're just like, boom, that's that. And we're done. And it's kind of like maybe you had some stress because of the way you left the situation, maybe monetary stress or something, but you're like, it balanced out and you're like, yeah, I just couldn't deal with that stress anymore. So that's what happened. But I'm getting that wasn't fair to you, if that's the case. Something is coming in, but I feel like when it's coming in, I am struggling with it a little bit. And I'm like, it's like I'm having these feelings, or I'm looking back and I'm just like, I feel like something's repeating. I don't want to go through this again. I don't think this is right that I have to go through this again. What can go differently is the question. Because something is pushing in, and it's pushing in so strongly, but nothing is moving. It's like somebody knocking on the door and they're just beating the crap out of the door. And you're just like, I will not be answering that door. Thank you very much. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, if they knock any harder, I think they're gonna knock it down. It's kind of like, it's feeling like that. And it's kind of like, what is going on here? Why is this happening again? It feels like there's a history with this. A whole new phase is coming in. A whole new phase is coming in. A whole change is coming in. And I feel like it's the transition from one to the next that I feel like I'm uncomfortable with. Like, I don't want to go through this change again. I don't want to go through this process again. For those of you this is hitting for, it doesn't matter that you're watching the reading. It's either happening or it's not. Watching this reading is not making this happen, just so you know. And I feel like for those of you watching, it should be kind of obvious if it's either there or not. I'm just saying. Because something's coming in and I'm like, I feel this change is coming, a whole new era in my life is coming, but I'm freaking out about it. It may be, for example, like a job situation, but it's like, it's not bad, but I'm like, I feel like if I go into this next level, it has potential to do that again. Or it's like, maybe it was a different job, a different place. And then I'm going into this next situation, or maybe somebody from one of those places, or the person I had a problem with is now hired and now working at this place. And I'm just like, oh my God, I left that job quickly to get away from them, and boom, they're back. They're back. And it's kind of like, am I going to have to do the same thing here? Am I going to have to move on from this? What am I going to need to do? I'm getting like, I feel fragile with this situation. I feel fragile with this situation. I'm like, I don't like this. I didn't want this to happen again. Okay, so if this is hitting, if this is hitting, it's meant to be empowering, and I see that it will be, but you just got to get through this next spot. Something, I feel like I have to address something. Something has to come out. Something has to be said. The Hermit coming in reversed is kind of like, it's not doing the work internally, it's doing the work externally. It's kind of like communicating what was what and how things made you feel. Or, you know what I mean? Your reaction to things. This moment is there. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm definitely the reader. Like, if it shows up, we just got to deal with it. I don't see the point in trying to whitewash things away, or, you know, just trying to sugar it up so much that it seems like putting a bunch of sugar on, like, you know, liver or something. It's kind of like, you can put as much sugar as you want on that, but it's still liver. I don't know if that's really going to help anything. I feel like I'm kind of looking at a situation like, I can admit that maybe I did some things, but the way this overall situation was, it's not good. And I know that people may not like the way I handled it in the past, or where I'm going currently, but I'm just like, you know what? I have to live with my outcome, and there's just certain things I won't tolerate. There's a moment coming forward where I feel like it just seems like boom, it's just there. And it also feels like it's just there, and it's like the sooner I address it, the sooner things can improve for me. one of the parts of this situation is making me, not making me, it's kind of giving me this energy of like, remember that nobody has the right to hold your past against you. Everybody has their past, and some people are extremely manipulative. They like to take what they see that you did that they don't like, and they just like to beat you to death with it. They won't address or acknowledge their own shortcomings. They just want what they want. And the purpose of that is to get you to do what they want you to do. The question is, what is it they want you to do? So I'm going to use the work analogy again. And this does happen, and I don't think this is a secret to anybody, but sometimes in a work situation, people will make a situation difficult, and they'll go as far as they can legally without getting in trouble, questionably, because they want you to leave. They don't want to fire you. They want you to elect to go. So it's almost like realizing, like, you know what? I don't want to play this game. Or worse. I see their game. I know what they're doing. I'm just not going to play it by their rules. I have done it mildly where I just made the day comfortable for me, and just whatever they wanted, I just didn't do it. I just did what I felt was right for the job, what I felt was right for the pay. I just wasn't willing to bend myself into a pretzel for it. So this doesn't have to be a work thing. It could be a person thing. It could be somebody in your family you have to deal with on occasion. It could be a friendship type thing, or like a social group where sometimes you just get paired up with somebody and you're just like, I don't really want to work with them, but this is what happened. And it's kind of like stepping back and going, all right, they're trying to create a moment here. In the actual moment, it may be difficult to step back. It may be more after the moment. It depends how it plays out. If you can do it during the moment, awesome. If it's after the moment, still valid. Just remember that. If it's after the moment, that you have to step back and go, wait a minute, this isn't right. And sometimes you have to just step back, and I don't know how this is going to sound. You have to realize that the person who's, whatever they're doing, they just don't have good intentions, and they have no interest in having good intentions. Sometimes you just got to address that too. How things are affecting you is not of value to them. What they want is of all the value. And what that's doing to you or having you go through, sometimes it's like, I don't know how this is going to sound because I'm a Pisces too, but sometimes when I realize my thoughts and feelings are of not of value to them, it's about their end goal. And it's just kind of like, if I can disassociate enough to kind of do what I want to do. And I'm a big fan of Paul McKenna, which I've probably mentioned in other readings if you watched me at any length. How to Mend Your Broken Heart, I think is the name of the book. He's a British author. There's exercises in there that I've used myself to disconnect from other people and bring down that energy and put it in my control, not their control to try to manipulate me. And it's helped a lot. So that might help you too if you end up having to deal with this. I feel for a lot of you, if this reading is hitting, you can already kind of see what's coming. You already have those inklings, or maybe you're just nervous that something is coming. So hopefully that's of help. Because I get like, whatever's going on here with this situation, the stress is only going to last so long, and you're going to make a change. You will make a change. The stress is going to become overwhelming, and it's kind of like, when I see this card, it does say pray from the heart, but I keep getting with the way these people are looking, it's like, make sure you're at peace and that this worked out fair for you, as fair as possible. Not fair like what's happening to you, but fair in the sense of like how I handled this worked out fairly for me, as fair as I could get it to work out for me, the way you handled it. Because it's changed, it doesn't last too long. It does kind of move on fairly quickly. The point is, we want to get to this other end of this situation where justice is in your favor, and you can feel like, all right, I understood, I didn't like it, but I found a way to deal with this, and I feel like if this pops up again, because like, welcome to life, patterns are constant. Things constantly repeat sooner or later. I just feel like it does. And whatever this was, it's kind of like, all right, this happened way in the past, it just happened recently, but I feel like I upgraded how I handled it, and it wasn't as bad this time. When all was said and done, it wasn't as bad, and I feel like if it does come forward again, the sooner I deal with it, the better. I don't have to wait. It's kind of like, I don't feel like I have to wait to deal with something. I'll know when I see it, this is where I'm going to go, so why wait it out? Start making changes as soon as I see it. I don't want to like miss anything if there's something that could help you with this situation. Because I feel like when this moment happens with that Ten of Swords, I just feel like we all have these moments where we just have these moments where they're just not fun moments. It just happens to all of us. It doesn't matter who we are, how great life is, or whatever, anything else. Sooner or later, we have these moments. All right, so it's not a long moment. I don't feel like I'm dreading a moment coming forward. I feel like it just happens. Whatever this is, so this moment I keep talking about or I've referenced here in this reading, it just happens when it happens. And it might be like the reason it's the Ten of Swords is not in the moment, but like it's almost like a day or two passes. Oh, I hate that. They're just showing me for something in my own life. It was a work situation and it was a very inappropriate something happened to me. And it took me, I just couldn't deal with it. I think I just shut down because it took me a while to like really sort it out and realized what happened. And I was just, and it might be one of those things where after the fact that you're like that happened, like that literally happened, that happened. And it's just one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, it's the moment is the moment. It's how you handle this afterwards that brings justice to you, and not like it's like it's handling it so justice comes to you, not just kind of like I'm just gonna move on from it, I'm just gonna pay the bill and get away from it. Because I feel like there's something here where it's kind of like by making the situation accountable, and the system they're reminding me of the situation. I did what I had to do. It was horrible and I didn't like going through it. But you know, I'm better on the other side for it, I guess, because certain people are just how they are. When you get to the other side of it, it's to it's to hopefully get you to a place where justice served you. And it wasn't one of those things where I just got to get away from it. And then whatever you dealt with is still unbalanced and still just causing havoc in other places. It's general read, take it with a grain of salt, however you feel that needs to happen for you. This reading is meant to be a very empowering reading. There's also something with this, because I keep looking back at this and I don't want to leave this empty. There's support around this situation. And when something starts happening, when you start seeing it, I feel like there might be energy where you're like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm the problem, or I don't want to make a big deal about that, or that makes me really uncomfortable, so I don't want to talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. When people know what's going on and people know how you feel and what you're thinking and what's going through your mind and what you're worried about, know who you can trust and talk about it to the level you can handle. Get that energy out there and let that energy be, let some communication, because the support can be there. You might have to be a little preemptive, especially with whatever's going on here. If you're starting to feel that energy kind of amp up, or you're like, something doesn't feel right here, talk with people so that they know that like you're uncomfortable with something. That way, if something does happen and you start saying, well, this has been happening or that's been happening, I just didn't want to say anything, instead of people being like, I never knew that was an issue, they're more likely to be like, oh yeah, I remember you mentioning this, and I remember you mentioning that, and I remember you saying that was making you uncomfortable, but it wasn't really that bad. I remember you saying that. It could end up supporting you. It can make the trip less lonely, and it feel like I have more behind me to bring me forward and bring me through the situation. It can make the situation more palatable. It's not going to be an enjoyable situation, but it can be more palatable. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.